How's it gaming? I'm Phil in the Blanks, and welcome back to the Black Box Files. This is file number 2, Tennis, which shares the exact same title music as baseball. I think a lot of these sports titles back on the NES, the early NES titles, shared the same music. Let's go select level 3. Why not? Right in the middle. Level 3 is pretty doable for me. Level 4 is difficult. I can do it, but it's much harder, and I don't want the episode to drag on too long with a crazy amount of back and forth. And then level 5 is just absolutely ridiculous, and I can barely score a single point on them. So, this is tennis for the NES. Following in the footsteps of baseball, this is a very simple, yet very, very fun, very fun sports title for the NES. It originally came out in January 1984 for the Famicom, and it's really fun. It's really good. Unlike baseball, where they had to do a little bit of translation in the menu and that kind of stuff, this is literally the Japanese Famicom chip put in an NES cartridge with a little bit of a converter or something, basically to allow it to play in the NES. But the Japanese version had no Japanese in it. It did say com, it did say U, it did say deuce and advantage and all that stuff. It's just kind of funny how much English there always is in Japanese titles. If you've never played tennis, it's pretty obvious how you play. It's a back and forth ball and paddle game like ping pong and table tennis, with, of course, various rules that I'm probably not going to hit very well. But you see the court there, the 2 large vertical rectangles on the side of each court do not count as an in section. So if I hit the ball there or he hits the ball there, it does count as out and the other player will get a point. If you're playing doubles, which is 2 versus 2, which you can do on this cartridge, which I think is really neat, that does count as in the court. So you have a lot less space to kind of play in when you're singles, but that makes sense. I guess it just makes it so that there's not, too much court for the player to run around in. The scoring system in tennis has always been weird. I never really knew why they did it like this, but I probably maybe should have looked this up before recording. It would have been fun to have that trivia, but 1 point gets you 15, 2 points will get you 30, 3 points will get you 40, which is weird, and then if you get another point, you win. So basically, you need 4 points to win. But if you both have 40, then it's considered deuce, and then you need to get 2 points above that to win. So if you get deuce, so 40-40, and someone gets, it actually might happen here, the computer gets another point. I don't want to let them. It'll probably happen throughout the game anyway, so I don't want to force it right now. But if you both have 40, it's deuce. And if you get a point, you get advantage. And if the other person gets another point out of that, you're back on deuce. So you have to win with advantage. You can see that there's 1, 2, and 3 there. Because you've probably heard the term game, set, match. Well, the match is the entire game, basically. The set is those 1, 2s, and 3s. And a game is... you need 6 games within 1 set, and you need to win 2 sets of the 3 to win the match. So far, what did it say? I think he's won 1 game, I've won 2 games. So, take that, you jerk. But yeah, it follows just like baseball with the really cutesy, but very well-detailed animated sprites. I really, really like them. I love the running animation. I think it's really funny. They've got little sound effect. I don't know, it's just cute. This is a game my sister and I played a lot. I would probably say on the NES, in terms of basic sports, this is probably the most played sport game for me on the NES. Thanks to our multi-cart 31-1. It was a lot of fun. Played a lot. And the fact that you can play doubles is just neat. Both on the same side, and it's just kind of neat to take down the computer. It's pretty cool. Did a really good job. No. Ooh, I got it. Haha. You can lob, and you can, the animation actually does change depending on if you're backhanding or not. It's really neat. Now, I find this game, because I hadn't played this game in forever until I, set it up today so I can play it today. It is harder than I remember, because you don't get to aim the ball. If you play a modern tennis game, and by modern I mean anything past 1993, you can aim the ball a little bit at least. But in this, if it's a backhand, it's going to go to the right. If it's a forehand, is that what it's called? Then it goes to the left, and it's very easy to hit the ball out if you're not paying attention to the orientation of your character. So yeah, you can hit with smashes like that, which can be very difficult. backhand smashes, which are almost always net hits for me, which is never fun. And you can also lob, which I don't tend to do very often. Nice, that was good. Though, I might try some stuff out as we play. There we go, we're 3-2 games. I hope it doesn't stay this even forever. This will make this episode really, really long. Yeah, fault, that's right. You call it referee. If you haven't noticed, by the way, the referee is Mario himself. Which, if we're double fault, nice. If we're going by chronological order from the Famicom, which is kind of what I've been doing with this, this is the first, chronologically, the first appearance of Mario on the Nintendo Entertainment System, which is pretty cool. This is, Tennis is one of 17 games to be released on launch day in October of 1985. And then in Japan, of those 17 games, is the second game to have been released on the Famicom. So that's kind of why I'm doing it in this order. Why you didn't see Super Mario Bros. As the very first one, because you'd assume that'd be the first one, but no, it's not. Simply because I'm doing the Japanese chronological release order. But yeah, because of that, Mario is, this is, chronologically the first appearance of Mario on the NES. I don't think it definitely is not on the Famicom, because Donkey Kong was the first game to release in Japan on the Famicom. But you can tell by his sprite, he's very much based on the Jumpman Donkey Kong sprite. Like, he's got that face. It's very Donkey Kong. A lot of times when you see Mario before Super Mario Brothers, or even before regular Mario Brothers, he kind of looks like that, very short guy. And Luigi didn't exist at this point. That's kind of neat. And it was just also the first time where you see a lot of Mario being more than just, this Super Mario saving the princess and beating up Donkey Kong. It was cool to see him with, like, a secondary job. I mean, it happened on the Game & Watch a lot. There were a lot of things, Mario Cement Factory, for God's sakes. But this was out. But this was a neat one, just a referee. And it would happen again in Punch-Out, too, as a referee. So it's just really cool. I always like how they made Mario very much the everyman. They don't do it nearly as much as they used to, because now he's very bland in terms of his character. I think the most character he tends to have is, like, Paper Mario, when you can make him a jerk. Or in, like, Mario and Luigi, I find he has a lot of character. But in the regular Mario games, he's very just, oh, it's a me, Mario. But it would be cool to see him back. Like, Punch-Out for Wii came out in 2009, and Mario was not the referee in that, and I found that to be such a shame. Though I like the design of the referee they ended up using. But anyways, back to tennis. Fun, weird little fact. So, the Versus versions of these games, if you don't know what those are, basically a lot of Nintendo games would come out in the arcade as Versus, like Tennis Versus. I can't think of it. Ice Climber Versus, was that one? I have no idea. But they were basically arcade versions of the game that were pretty cheap. I think they were probably still a quarter per play, but they were just really fun and a way for Nintendo to kind of get their brand out there while arcades were still kind of a thing, but home consoles weren't doing super well. This game, Versus Tennis, actually came out in 1984, so I think this technically makes it the very first Nintendo Entertainment System game to come out, which came out like a year before the actual Nintendo Entertainment System. So, kind of a neat little thing. Damn. I'm holding myself pretty well. What are we, 5-2? Which means if I win one more game, that's a set. That means we'll be halfway to done. As long as I win both sets, that is. If he wins a set, then we'll have to play a third set. And I don't think that's going to happen, though. He'll win a game or two, but he's not going to win a set. He's definitely not going to win the match. Double fault. That sucks. Too bad for you. Too bad. Little weird thing, too, about the way you serve. You don't throw the ball with the... How did you miss that? You don't throw the ball up with a click of a button. It just goes up at, like, what seems like random intervals. So I'm usually just hammering the A button so I can smack it as quickly as I can. When I get back to serving, which should be very soon, because I'm going to win this. Come on. Come on. New. Smash it good? Yeah, there we go. That is one full set, I think. Yeah, it is. Nice. On to set 2. So when I'm serving, I'm just smashing the A button so I can just smash it over as soon as possible. Because for some reason, like I said, it kind of just, he throws the ball up randomly, and it's just weird. So I'd like to just do that. That way it feels faster and harder, like the hits that I'm doing, so. Whee! I would say tennis itself is probably my favorite, like, regular sport that I like to play in video games. Like, Mario Tennis games are usually really good. But even, like, other tennis games I really like. I forget which one it was. There was a tennis game for the PS2. And it had Sophia, or no, it was Cassandra, and Raphael from Soul Calibur in it. I played that one a lot. Was it Topspin? I don't know. Topspin was a lot of fun. But I find tennis games are really fun and easy to get into. If you're playing with someone who doesn't play a lot of video games, you want to play a versus game, you can play tennis with them. As long as you don't, go too hard on them. But, like, it's fun because they can pretty easily understand what they're supposed to do. I mean, after all, the idea of tennis itself is the oldest idea in video games. Completely. In the media, the history of the media of video games, tennis is the oldest thing. The very first game was in, oh gosh, what was it, 1954? Tennis for Two by Professor Higginbotham. I think that's how you pronounce his name. On an old oscilloscope, and it was basically a tennis game. And then, of course, everyone knows Pong. Like, Pong is the first commercially ready video game back in, that one I forget, 1971, I forget. I guess there was other things like Computer Space and Space Wars and all that, but if you count Tennis for Two by Higginbotham, which I do, that is, in my opinion, the very first video game in history, then yeah, tennis is the oldest idea. It definitely was the most popular thing back in the day. Pong was just universally loved. And then even Nintendo, their first console was like TV Game Color 6, I think it was called. It was basically just versions of Pong. Generation 1 of video games was basically everything was Pong. It's hilarious. I don't have a lot of Generation 1 consoles. I think I only have like 3 or so. I have like a Telstar, I think, which might be Generation 2, I'm not sure. I have a Magnavox Odyssey, a version of it. Not the original kind, but... And they're all Pong! It's just Pong! So it's natural that they would, like, once they could make animated characters, that they'd make tennis. It just makes sense. And plus it's fun. It's very easy to get into. It's very approachable. And though I find this game, can be a little finicky, I still think it's very fun. Very fun. A lot of fun with a friend. After you're done playing a game of baseball from last episode, play a game of tennis with them. You'll have a good old, grand old time. I love the scaling on the ball. I know it's not actual scaling, it's just different pixeled versions, but they do a really good job to convey that distance. It looks great. They did it in baseball as well. Just a great job. Fantastic. Come on, man, really? That was funny. That was bad, dude. Plus, it looks nice. Just the court, the way it's angled. And you don't really play at the top, so it doesn't feel awkward, because a lot of times tennis games where it's like one person's close to the screen, one person's far away from the screen, it feels a little uneven. It's like, I hate playing away from the screen. Mind you, obviously, games where you do that, you switch out every time you start serving, that kind of thing, so... Ooh, damn. But yeah, Nintendo definitely kept going with tennis, much more than they did with baseball. There were plenty of other baseball games for the NES, but Nintendo themselves kept going with tennis. I think did they do Super Tennis? Was that them? Was it a Nintendo branded game? I don't remember. I think it is. But they kept going. Obviously, I think the most famous one, if you said, hey, what's a good tennis game for video games? It's Mario Tennis. Mario Tennis has had a lot of incarnations, starting with the Virtual Boy Tennis, which it was just called, I think it was just called Mario Tennis. And I think it got popular with Mario Tennis, or just Tennis 64, Mario Tennis 64, which is really good. Though I would say my favorite is Mario Tennis for the Game Boy Color. It's such a good game. And Advance, very good as well. Because they're little like RPG adventure games. They're really good. I wish they'd bring that back. But there has been a Mario Tennis on every single console since the N64, actually, I guess. I don't think the DS did. The 3DS did. Did the Wii U? Can't look over at the collection right now, so I can't check. but I'm pretty sure it did. The newest one being Mario Tennis, Aces, I think, for the Switch. Yeah, there was one for the Wii U. Unfortunately, though, they're usually not amazing. Like, they're fun, but they're very vapid. It's why the Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color one are just so good, because they were so deep. They did the same thing with golf, too. It's a shame. But still really fun. It's just nice that Nintendo has, like, a specific sports game that they're pretty decent at. There are a couple baseball games made by Nintendo as well. Mario Baseball. Mario Sluggers, as they call it. Nice. One more. And... nice. The lobs are doing a really good job of sending them back. And I can get a smash in. Okay, one more. One more! Wow, we're really shutting them out this time, aren't we? Good job. 4 more points. And I will be king of tennis. Oh, come on, man. What was that? Very simple. These old games are very simple. Now, when the NES launched, like I said, it had 17 games. The best game was Super Mario Brothers, obviously, but it came with the game with the NES. And I feel bad for someone like buying this for like $60 back then, because that's how much games cost, man, back then. And I mean, I guess at the same time, it'd be really cool because we didn't know better. But like 2 years later, you had like Mega Man, like Castlevania. My gosh, it puts these games to shame. But these still sold stupidly well. This is didn't sell as well as baseball, which is not surprising. Baseball is just universal in the West and in Japan. But this still sold very well. I think most of the black box games did, at least the regular ones, not Donkey Kong Jr. Math. Damn, stop keeping up with me, computer. I need those 2 extra points. And schmuck. No! Oh, net! Aha, 1 more point. Match point. I wish it would say that. In later games, later tennis games, like match point, and the music would change and make you feel all like, I'm sweating now. But now it's just a regular, who cares? Come on. Yeah, oh, he didn't even try. He just gave that to me. There we go. Game, set, match. That was a lot of fun. Yay. I love the little... That's a fun little ditty. And then you go on to the next computer. So that now we'd be facing off level 4 with the purple shirt. There he is. It's a lot harder. But hey, thank you so much for joining me with tennis. This was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, I didn't say question of the day. Do you like tennis? Do you play tennis? It's fun. I like tennis. Anyways, I've filled the blanks, and I'll see you all next time for the next file in the black box files. File number 3, pinball. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this episode, click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon to know when the next episode is up. If you want to support my channel, share some videos with some friends and consider supporting me on Patreon.